Camera's fuzzy.
Clean your lens.
Clean the lens.
Cheers.
What's going on, everybody? Coffee time. Although mine's pretty much like done.
I added ice, so mine is almost full again.
Who had a brain fart? What's up, Jen? What's up, Juliana?
Quick pro tip, y'all. To extend the life of your coffee in the morning, drink your hot coffee until it's about halfway full. Then add a bunch of ice it down, and then you'll have another full coffee. And you'll get more of your water intake in the day.
There you go.
So I'm wearing a shirt today that I think reflects our topic well.
Ooh. Okay.
You see the little
What does
Zen
it say?
Buddha?
Look at her boobs.
Zen Buddha.
Love, lift,
live. What does this evoke, babe? This image of
What
the
does it
Buddha?
image? Peace.
Peace. Tranquility.
Zen.
Which is the
So-
opposite of what?
Stress, chaos, and drama.
Woo! Which is the topic of today.
Getting right into it today, folks. Hi, happy Sunday.
The question of the day is,
the question of the day is,
are you addicted to stress?
are you addicted to stress?
Are you a drama queen?
Are you a drama queen? Are you a drama queen? Why are we asking this question?
Because I have a new mission in life.
Okay.
It is to fight against neuroses.
Neuroses. And how so? Why is that important? Why is that a mission?
So, because I think it's something that both of us see, probably in a majority of our clients, that completely outside of nutrition, training, food, all the food and the fitness stuff,
Right.
is this general neurosis that is 100% holding you back.
And what do we, when you say neurosis, what are you talking about?
Overanalyzing, overcomplicating, overthinking everything.
Creating anxiety that doesn't need to be there.
A sense of essentially being in a state of a sympathetic state, which is a stressed state
Right.
in your physiology almost all the time. And it is driven by your mind.
Right.
It's not driven by all the external circumstances that you think it's being driven by. It's actually a choice to be in that state that you actually can choose. This is going to be a mind blower. That you can actually choose to never feel stress.
What? Stress is a response that you can choose. Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking about something you guys know how this goes. She says something, my brain starts going, and then I got to think it through while we talk.
This is why we do this.
A lot of the neuroses, I think, comes from not trusting the process, but trying to force the process. And not accepting the fact that it's just going to be what it's going to be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Trying to rush
it,
process.
trying to make the results what you want versus what reality says it's going to be. I want to look like Nat. You're never going to look like Nat. You're going to look like you. Getting healthy is going to make you look like a healthy you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Trying to look like
the comparison
there's a
game
whole
is
bunch of
another
different
piece
things.
of
Another
it,
piece of
for
it, right? There's a
sure.
whole bunch of things
For
that kind of go
sure.
into this. Yeah.
But creating, it's even in the minute details of what you're doing, right? Like you can choose, changing your life, I've said this many times, changing your life feels difficult.
Right.
Because it's different. Because you have to start thinking differently. You have to take different actions. You have to plan differently. You have to grocery shop differently. You have to set up your life differently. That is not a simple, easy process for people. it creates, in and of itself, it can create a source of stress in your life because something is different. And now I have to set up all these different processes that I haven't done before, right? So that's going to take getting out of your comfort zone. It's going to take learning. It's going to take implementing. It's going to take all these things, right? But the level of stress that you feel from doing those things is entirely up to you.
I want to rephrase that.
Sure.
The level of stress is going to be whatever that level of stress is. How you respond to it emotionally is up to you.
Ooh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
If I'm pushing her, there's a level of stress that I'm putting on her. She can either push back, she can get out of the way, or she can let me do it. It's the response to the stress that makes the difference. And many of the people that we work with, or that we see or talk to or are exposed to in the space, are in a cycle of feeding on the stress instead of managing the stress.
Ah, yes.
Right? It seems like, and this is why we titled this, Are You Addicted to Stress? It seems like there's a lot of people, and we talk about this, there's a martyr syndrome aspect. If I don't have something to complain about, to make people look at me, if I'm not always complaining about my diet, then how is anyone going to know I'm on a diet? Right?
Yeah.
If I'm not always doing things and letting people know that I'm doing things for them, how am I going to be seen?
Ooh.
There's probably other
Blue
ways.
Low says Debbie Downer syndrome.
Debbie Downer syndrome. I'm not happy with the choices that I'm making, so I want other people to not be happy with me. I need commiseration.
Okay, yep. Honey Badger says constant fight or flight. Yeah, that's what it's doing.
Right, that's what it's doing.
Inside your body.
Always feeding drama in social media and communities because you're trying to distract yourself from the things you know you need to be doing.
And what I see a lot of the time has nothing to do with any of that. It's all what you are doing to yourself.
That's a whole other, right? Those are external things. There's a whole other thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I cheated on my diet yesterday. So I'm going to spend all day today and tomorrow beating myself up over it, feeling bad about myself, feeling sorry for myself, telling myself today's the day. I'm going to be different. I'm going to be good today. I was bad yesterday. And then it's a constant every single day. For some people, literally every day you are battling this on my diet, off my diet, on my diet, off my diet. I'm so bad. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I'm horrible. Why do I keep doing this? And you're in this emotional roller coaster. And the truth is, and this is really what drove this topic this week, I talked maybe a week or two ago in my feedback to my academy about, I coined a new mantra.
What is it? I got it quoted right here.
It's not that serious.
Right.
Nothing is ever that serious. And what I mean by this is not that the actions you took are not serious, meaning binging your face off or binging and purging is not serious and you can just let it go and keep doing it and just allow it because it's not serious. That's not what I meant by it. And I noticed that some folks in my community didn't really get the concept. So I was talking to Bronson about it. And then when he was like, oh, this needs to be our next topic. So it's not that the behaviors you're doing that are causing you to stay very unhealthy are not serious. It's that it is never worth your peace. And the more that you make yourself stressed out over the actions you took or you didn't take, you're actually addicted to that cycle. You're addicted to the drama, that state of stress. That's what you're addicted to. So it may not be that you're even addicted to the food that you think you're addicted to. It's that you want to feel this high and low, stressed state, this I'm horrible and now I'm good. It's all of that.
It's like being an adrenaline junkie.
Yes, yes.
Right? It's like it's you know, and here's the thing, and we trying to understand the idea of how can you be addicted to something that's supposedly bad for you. Say that out loud to yourself. Stress is bad for me. How could I be addicted to it? How could I be
addicted to that crappy food that I know is bad for me logically?
Or alcohol or whatever. How can I be addicted to a toxic relationship? Why am I not leaving a toxic relationship? All of this, it's the same thing, guys. Habit loops, homeostasis, balance, your body's ability to adapt to the scenarios and environment you put yourself in can happen in good or bad environments. So if you are used to...
It's what you're used to that you're addicted
doing
to.
this all of the time, if you are used to it, then you're probably at a point where you're doing these things, you have no idea you're even doing it. This is why self-awareness is so important.
I told Bronson the other day that if I had continued to beat myself up over my binging and purging, I never would have healed and recovered from bulimia. It feels so weird to say, you know, when I stopped making myself wrong for doing the thing that was so incredibly harmful to myself, that's when I opened the way to healing. But that truly was. I had to stop making it such a huge deal that it now robbed me of days, hours and days and weeks of my life, because I was actually addicted to that drama.
It's drama.
Drama in my mind. When I started forgiving myself and allowing it to be what it was without making it mean something about me, it didn't mean that I was allowing and justifying the behavior. It was that, let me stop villainizing myself for the behavior.
Yeah.
Let me stop making it mean that I'm bad or wrong.
Right. No, identify. Yeah. What you do isn't who you are. And when you are constantly focused on that aspect of this whole thought process, it shows. I think it's something that that's coming to me. I'm going to think this out loud. When you are always focused on what you're doing being bad, and you have that neuroses or anxiety or pressure to be 100% all of the time, part of that is because you're not understanding, or you haven't accepted the fact that this is a lifelong journey. And as long as you keep trying to do your best, you will always make progress.
Yes.
Every decision is not life or death. And that's how some of you guys are treating it.
Yes.
Every decision is not life or death. I can decide, number one, it's my decision. It didn't happen to me.
That part.
I am in control. So that's another aspect of it.
Yes.
That's another aspect. This is, I'm totally going opposite where I was.
Well, and when you're not so emotional about it, you can take ownership and responsibility for the poor decisions without making it this massive emotional
but here's the thing.
issue.
Here's the thing. You know, one of the reasons why it goes to the anxiety and it goes to the emotional thing, it's because that is a way to blame it on something else and not take ownership.
That's it. There's a cognitive dissonance.
Right. When you are getting so worked up and anxious about what's happening or where you're going or this is too hard or whatever, you're putting your decision off of you and you're making it about the circumstance. You're making it about the environment. You're making it about whatever else. It's the food's fault.
Because it makes you feel better to do that.
Right? Because now it's not me, it's whatever else. And that's an avoidance. That's how you don't progress.
When you can start to recognize, I did this, I chose to do something that was harmful for myself, but I am not making myself bad for that. I'm not a terrible person for that. I don't have to wallow in self-pity because of that choice. Instead, I can say, I'm an adult, I'm taking responsibility. I chose something that was not good for me. What can I do now? What am I going to do with this? When you're not in a heightened emotional state over what you did, you can live in the logical brain, and you can make better choices moving forward.
Right. Right.
But whenever taking responsibility makes you feel like complete crap about yourself, you're not going to be able to think logically and make a better decision next time. You're going to now find something else to make yourself feel better emotionally,
right.
and this is why you end up in that loop.
The focus you have on, and I'm going to say it this way because this is what it is. I'll say it, not the focus. The reason you're making it more stressful for yourself is the same reason you're making the choices you're making. It's a form of self-sabotage.
And you will continue. It'll be this perpetual
You're
thing.
using the stress to distract you from what you need to be doing. Right? If I'm making it about all of this, then it can't be about me. I don't have to change. It's my situation's fault.
Yes.
Okay? So the thing, the linchpin, the keystone, the thing that makes all of this work is ownership. It is all your choice. There's no two ways about it. It is your choice. If it is your choice, then there is no right or wrong. Am I choosing to do something that's beneficial or choosing to do something that's not? Whatever. I still get to choose. It's in my control. We talked about this on a talk a couple weeks ago. You can't say that you want to be free in the absence of owning your own decisions.
That. And it's ownership without emotion.
Correct.
It's matter of fact. When you can look at everything and take the emotion out of it, it's just like everything else we talk about. When the scale does not cause an emotional reaction. When, literally you can live your life with balanced emotions.
Well,
You're going to have, here and there's going to be three things that throw you off. Now, are we expecting everyone to live life without ever experiencing higher emotions? No. Of course, life is going to have highs and some lows and some things that catch you off guard in the moment. To me, the goal in life is to shorten those heightened emotions to short bursts and periods of time and quickly be able to get back into your logical prefrontal cortex brain, human brain, and be able to come down to a baseline again.
Yeah. Julian has a good question. So how to handle the life stress that isn't food or exercise? I'm so much better at handling things, but sometimes the waves come so hard and fast. Yeah, that's life. And that's the thing to understand. Just because something happens to you that maybe you do have a reaction, maybe you do respond in a way that's not beneficial to you or your family, or maybe something happens and I get stressed out and I snap in that. Does that mean our relationship is over? She may snap back at me. We may have a big blowout fight. But at some point, we get back to where we want to be, because then we communicate, just like you communicate with yourself. We talk it through. We develop self-awareness. What was going on? Why did we do this? How did we respond? It's not I'm a bad person because I snapped at Nat. And now I have to be down on myself. I'm a horrible boyfriend and everything else. And then we don't talk at all. And then now I never talk to her. And then now we start snapping all the time. Like, why would I do that? You still go through the process of what is the issue? What happened? Why did I respond the way I responded? Now, the next time a big wave of something happens, is it more likely that I respond in a better, more healthy way? Yeah.
And it all really just starts with awareness.
Right.
Starting to become more aware of your emotional state throughout your days. Whatever's happening around you, the world is burning down around you. Okay, but do I have to be here right now, or can I be even keeled?
Yeah. And even this question, Juliana, we love you. Even this question is indicative of a mindset that says, anytime I do something bad, I'm wrong. That question wouldn't even be a question if there was an understanding that there's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Why would it even matter? Yeah, there's going to be things where I'm going to come home from work and be like, F everything, life stinks, I'm done. And I will have to go through a process of figuring out what's going on and deal with it. That's part of life. So there's no one that's ever going to be 100% non-emotional, 100% logical, 100% self-aware all of the time. It's just not possible. But how do you deal with those times? That's what matters.
That's what she's saying is, right. How do you deal with how do you handle the life stress? Like, let it be what it is. And you don't have to react to it emotionally.
Yeah.
So it all starts with just that self-awareness. How am I feeling in this moment? How am I feeling at any moment? How do I need to be feeling? Could I be feeling different? And like I said, to me, it's about shortening that time frame that you're in that heightened emotion state. So how quickly can I get back to calm? And there's some practices you can do. Like there's some practical things.
Have you heard the 5-minute rule?
The 5-minute rule?
You can only be angry for 5 minutes.
I like that. Yep. I've practiced that at times in my life, for sure, when I was trying to shorten. Look, I'm Italian on my dad's side. All right? I grew up with an Italian father. There was a lot of hot-headed moments in my household. Bronson is complete opposite of that. It's amazing, y'all. It is amazing to have met a man who is so even-keeled. There's not a lot of things. I have never seen you totally blow up, ever, in our relationship.
No, I think the only times that would happen, that it has happened a few times. And usually if it happens, it has more to do with the safety of people around me.
Yeah.
That's
usually
the times that it's happened.
But yeah, not a lot gets a rise out of this guy. You've done a lot of work.
I really wanted to say
something. I know you did.
I really wanted to say something.
I even let the pause happen. I was going to see if you were going to jump on that.
Behave yourself.
There are some things that get a rise out of you.
Yeah, just a few. We have in our notes. We have this thing that says where you're placing your energy and focus.
Oh yes, because where your attention goes, your energy flows. So, if you find yourself stressed out about XYZ anything, ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? You have probably chosen to put your energy into something and your focus into something that is driving that stress up.
Yeah.
So take a step back and how can I reduce the stress right now? We see this a lot with the practical stuff, right? Meal prep. I have seen comments in my group about, oh my gosh, I did all this meal prep. I spent all these hours. I spent so much time. I have no time to go to the gym because I was doing so much with my meal prep. Do you need to do that much? Is there a way that you can make this a lot simpler? That's
a really good practical step. Whenever you're getting stressed, just ask yourself, do I need to do this? Do I need to do this way?
Do I need to do this right now?
Do I need to do it right now? Can I get someone else to do this? That's a big one, moms.
Yes, women.
That's a big one, moms. If you had teenagers at home and you're doing
everything,
then you need to get them to start doing some things. And there's a list of about 20 different things I could give you about how that's beneficial to you and them.
And women with small children, your husband is not useless.
No. And if you don't, we're totally off track. If you don't verbalize your needs, do not get mad if they are not met.
Okay, ladies, Men need you to tell them. Men need very clear communication. And preferably concise communication.
Yes.
You need to ask them to help.
Yes.
They're not going to just know. Please don't wait until you blow up.
Right.
And somebody mentioned it recently in my group. Oh, when I blow up and completely incinerate, my husband helps and does all this stuff. Okay, what if instead of blowing up, you just became very clear and concise and specifically asked him to do something?
Right.
Tell him when. Tell him how, if you have a how that you want him to do it. Be very clear, ladies.
I really wish the trash would get taken out is not a request. Hey, babe, could you take the trash out before dinner, please? Thank you. That's a request. And then maybe have a conversation. Hey, could you on a regular basis make sure that the trash is always taken out? So that I don't have to worry about it when I'm making dinner and there's a bunch of stuff I got to throw in the trash and I go to put it in the trash and I can't because it's full. Then I got to stop making dinner, go empty the trash, right? If you explain what you need and why you need it and how it impacts your quality of life, it will get done more likely than not.
This could be a whole separate topic.
Oh my God, a whole separate topic.
Ladies, stop treating your men like children. They are capable.
Yes.
They lived a whole life.
Regardless of what society will tell you.
They lived a life and they were capable of doing things before you met them. Treat them like they are capable. And it will show them that you respect them and your relationship will probably be better for it. We should do a whole relationship talk. Yeah. But
and yes, there are things that men can do too, but most of you watching are women, so
yeah,
we'll save the man stuff for
and most of the people we work with are women.
Yeah.
And most of the people who are constantly stressed out are women. Yeah. And ladies entering perimenopause, you need to manage your stress like it's your job. You need to do that. You need to make that the priority, even above all the other stuff. Right. So many women that we work with are adding more stress to their lives with their food and their fitness without dealing with the stress, without doing anything to help manage
This is one
stress.
of the reasons why we talk about mindset so much. Because honestly, I think if I had to, what percentage would you give to the real life stress being applied to somebody versus the emotional and mental stress that people are creating for themselves? If you had to give it a percentage between the two on what people are dealing with.
I would say 90% of it is self-imposed.
I was thinking 70. Right? The total, what we call allostatic load of the physical stress you feel in your body, a large percent of it is being made up in your head.
Yep.
It doesn't actually exist. Okay, that is the difference between someone who gets paralyzed when there's a lot of things going on and someone who thrives when there's a lot of things going on. When someone is paralyzed when there's a bunch of stuff happening, it's because they are allowing those things to control their emotions and their thoughts instead of using their emotions and their thoughts to control those things.
Life is not going to be without stressors. But stressors do not have to manifest as stress.
Yes.
You don't have to take it on. There can be stressors and triggers around you, but it's basically triggers. How triggered are you allowing yourself to become?
They don't have to manifest as negative stress because there is good stress. Sex is stress.
Training, workouts are stress.
Workouts are stress. Who doesn't like sex? Not this guy.
I mean, some people may not, but that just
But
means,
in general.
By the way, one day he's going to teach a workshop to the men.
I am? Where did that come from?
On how to please your woman.
Oh, wow.
So
Let's put that out there.
So she wants to have sex
Let's
with
put
you.
that out there, okay. But it's this.
These are things we talk about that have not seen the light of day.
She's telling me
yet.
I need to put a course together. But that's literally what we're talking about. Stress is not good or bad. Stress just means something is happening. Your body has to respond. That's all it means. Your response and what it does to the end result of that response can be a benefit or it can be harmful. And that's mostly up to what you're doing it, why you're doing it, and how you think about it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I love that comment. We can read that whole comment. Oh, this is from Sabette. There is a circumstance, you have a thought about it, which provokes an emotion, at which point you can back it up to the thought or play the whole thing out.
yeah. What caused this? Or let me play it out, and where is this leading me? I don't want to go there. Now let's take a step back and start this over again.
There's a fun exercise you can try. I've done this before when I've counseled people. When you start spiraling, you recognize that you're starting to spiral. Keep going, but make it a very specific question. What is the worst thing that could happen? And really try to think of the craziest, farthest out, most ludicrous possible thing that your mind is going to, because that's what's happening when you're spiraling. What is the absolute worst thing that would happen? And then when you come up with that thing, well, then that, let's see.
How bad was that?
Right. Eventually you might get to I'll be dead in a ditch somewhere. No one will ever find me. I'll abandon my family. You start going to all these things, right?
That's a deadly cheesecake.
But that's when you can recognize how ridiculous and unrealistic it is where your mind is going. What's the likelihood that would actually happen?
Right.
0.01%. Okay, so what's a more realistic situation that could actually happen in this instance? Right. And you start to bring yourself from the emotional limbic brain back up to your prefrontal cortex, logical reasoning brain.
Thinking through it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is, the easiest example, I think, of this whole process is the dreams are not reality. This young woman, a couple nights ago, had a dream.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did.
Her breathing in real life woke me up. She's in bed, like hyperventilating. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I kind of reached over, shook her a little bit, like, hey, babe, what's going on? Are you okay? And she woke up and she was terrified. Yeah. What were you dreaming?
He was suffocating me.
She dreamed that I was leaning on her, like with my arm.
Like you had your arm over me in bed. That's why it felt so real, because it was like
you were in bed.
The way we lay in bed.
Yeah.
But I was on my stomach, and like your weight was on me, and I couldn't breathe, and I was trying to lift up, and you wouldn't let me up. He was trying to suffocate me to death, basically.
And she woke up, and she was like, "Oh my God!" I don't even know how you went back. How long it took you to go back to sleep?
It took a good 30 minutes to get back to sleep after that. Yeah.
But that's not reality. Have you ever woken up mad at your spouse or partner?
Okay, you know what I see on TikTok all the time?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
The stories of the women who dream of their partner cheating and then wake up and they're mad at their spouse in real life.
All day long. They're pissed off.
That's not real.
Yeah. But that's what happens, right? Dream husband gets in trouble a lot. But that's the same thing that you guys are doing to yourself on purpose.
Yeah.
You're telling yourself these stories about yourself, about other people, about the circumstance, whatever it may be.
There's a story in your mind. Stress. Yeah, there's a story in your mind. There's another little trick I teach my ladies, and I like to talk a lot about language, because the words that we use are cues or
triggers.
keys,
Keys.
insights into what's really going on behind the
Insights.
scenes.
How we speak is a big
Clues.
window.
Yeah.
A big window into how we think.
It's a clue. That's the word I was trying to say, not cue. It's a clue. So if there is a phrase that everybody uses all the time,
Uh-oh.
I feel like. Notice, and I get to see it because in check-ins, they actually write it out. And then I can say, okay, everything after I feel like is a story. So whenever you find yourself saying, I feel like, back it up, rewind, what's going on there?
Yeah.
How do I actually feel? Not, I feel like.
Well, I mean, right? That's a great way to put it, because I feel like that,
it's a metaphor.
You're literally saying, this isn't how I feel, but this is how I want to describe it.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Or even the verbs when you say, I feel like so-and-so hates me. Well, why are you making that up?
Yeah.
Where is that coming from?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I feel like I did good this week. Well, look at the data. How
did you?
You know, what actually happened this week?
Yeah. Yeah, another way of saying that.
I feel like I hit my macros this week.
Right.
Did you or did you not hit your macros this week?
You could instead of saying, I'm trying to see how I would phrase this. Instead of saying I feel like, what if you said, I'm trying to think of what a good replacement for I feel like.
Well, it depends on what comes after it, because in some cases, when you're actually trying to state a fact, but you're saying I feel like, then in that case, you could say I did XYZ or I didn't do XYZ.
Right. So changing it from a passive sentence to an active sentence.
Yeah.
Right. And that, I think that's
when you're
the key,
actually talking about emotions, then it could be I feel without the like. Take the like out. Right?
Yes.
I feel scared. I feel upset. Actually identify what you're feeling versus
and
using
that's
the term I feel
that's
like.
the difference between active and passive. Adding the like in there makes it a passive statement.
Yes.
Active statements mean there is something happening.
Yep.
Right?
Clarity. Find clarity.
That's like I'm going to the store. I'm right now going to the store. I am thinking about going to the store.
Yeah.
Not what we're talking about. Are you going or not?
Yeah.
Make it an active statement. Okay. This was just a kind of we didn't take a lot of notes for this one. We talked about it a little bit. I feel like there's a lot of different ways to look at this. The bottom line is, if you feel like you're always, just ask yourself, how much of it are you causing in your head? It's very likely that it's most of it, because of the way that you're thinking about the expectations that don't exist.
Yeah.
That you've either placed on yourself or that you think other people have placed on you.
There's another piece.
Oh.
Majoring in the minors.
Oh, yes.
This is a big one when it comes to health and fitness, right? Mm-hmm. Obsessing over every little detail of your diet plan, of your training plan, of your schedule, of whatever it is. But it's like this obsession with, how exactly do I do this exercise? Should I do this before that? Should I, how about just go and try and just do things without making it more complicated than it needs to be?
Right.
Oh, and thinking, second guessing everything. That's another thing we see with the details.
I wonder if this makes sense.
Wanting to do it perfectly.
Yeah, I wonder if this makes sense. There's always an exception, and your growth in your own self-awareness and your own journey is when you can start identifying your own exceptions. Okay? We went to Five Guys. I went to Five Guys a couple weeks ago, and they recently changed their pricing. They now do solo patties. It's like half the cost to get my patties now than it used to be.
All right, carnivores out there.
Amaze balls. Yes. Okay? But they also implemented a thing now where unless you're getting separate sides, they will put everything in aluminum foil, not in a bowl. So I ordered 6 patties, and the guy's like, hey, just so you know, we have a policy now, there's no side, so I'm going to put it in aluminum foil. I'm not going to put it in a bowl. And I was like, okay, you understand that I'm going to get grease all over my car. Could you please put it in a bowl? He's like, I'm not allowed to. I'm like, dude, you're about to give me 6 patties in aluminum foil
With
in
no
one
bun,
paper bag,
no-
no bun to soak up oil, nothing. My car is going to be full of grease. And he's like, sorry, I'm not allowed to. That is a point where if he was a little self-aware and a little
Think
outside the box, right? Then he probably would have said, in the interest of my customer's best, in my customer's best interest, I will do this in a bowl.
This is not a standard order.
I will triple bag it, or just something different, because this is an obvious thing that's going to happen, and he's not going to be very happy with us. Okay? He didn't do that. Sometimes we stick to the rules so much that and again, sometimes the rules are just some made up thing that we put in our head. This is how it has to be done.
Oh, that's a huge one.
Right? I have to do it this way.
Yep.
Do you really have to do it that way?
That's a great way to actually
Right?
work on managing your stress in stressful situations,
Yeah.
right? What is another way I could look at this? What is another way I could do this? Is there something I'm not thinking about here?
Yeah. Yeah. If doing this is stressing me out, what is it about this that's stressing me out? And can I change that? Can I do it a different way?
That's massive. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all about, guys, it's all about, start thinking. It's not easy. It takes practice.
Yeah.
But you have to take the time and try to think things through differently than you are now.
And here's a little super simple thing you can do on a regular basis when you find yourself stressed out to start
Go have sex.
finding your way back to homeostasis. And it is the first tip I always give everyone when they're asking for advice on this. Box breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4. Try to hold it for a count of 7. It's going to be very difficult when you haven't done this. Maybe it's a count of 4 starting with. And then try to exhale longer than 7, like 9. 4, 7, 9.
Nose, mouth.
Breathe in through your nose, hold, breathe out through your mouth slowly. That, and really just the slow breathing. If you don't want to do the box breath, just a slow inhale and an even slower exhale. The quick inhales are the energetic breathing. The slow and the slower exhale is to calm the system. It is the best thing you can do to just start finding that calm in those heightened emotion states.
And I'll take that to the next level. If you look up box breathing, or if you look up parasympathetic breathing, there's some other things you can do. If you have a couple minutes, right? If you want to combine that with laying on the floor, put your feet up on a couch, right? There's some body positions and other things you can do that will, like within 30
Changing your
seconds,
physiology.
will get you will get your mind to relax. It will get your stress levels down. Like, it will do so many things to get you into a different state of being. It's 478 is one that's popular. Thanks, Juliana.
It's tricky. She says 444 works better for her.
It's anything that's slower than
Start
where you
with
are
where you're
now,
at.
basically.
Yeah.
So lots
And
of
the
good
key
stuff
is to try to make that exhale longer than the inhale. What else was I going to say about that? Dang it. I lost it. Oh, the reason why so many of you go to food when you are stressed is because food is a physiological change of state.
Ooh, think about that, guys.
You want your body, you're trying to change the
You're
state that
in
your
one
body
stress
is in.
state, you need to change over. It's the change of state that is your body's looking for, right?
It's not the food. So when you find yourself craving or wanting to go snack, identify what is the emotion I'm present to right now, and then go do something else to change your state. Jump up and down a bunch of times. Do some jumping jacks. Do the box breathing.
Burpees!
Go stand in the sun, Go stand outside in the sun. Do something to change your physiology that is not food related. So.
Cool. All right, guys, that's all we've got for today. This is a shorter one than normal, but I think we
right to the
covered a
point.
lot of stuff. And if you could do us a favor on Instagram and on YouTube, share this video with somebody. If there's someone you know who's struggling with stress, who's struggling with trying to manage all the things they have going on in their lives, maybe there's something in this video that can help them out. But if you could share this, that'd be awesome. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining and have a great rest of your weekend.
Bye.